resources, and above all, our people. This is how we are shaping our future. Welcome to Namibia, the land of the brave.
Now, I hope that video proved the amazing introduction that I tried to say earlier. So just to acknowledge our amazing speakers that you have before you, I'll start on my far left. We have Ms. Iria Jonah, and right next to her, we have Ms. Jessica Awanga. And then on my near left, we are joined by Ms. Nangula Aunja. Thank you very much, once again, ladies, for joining us on the panel. And just to get right into our segment, I would like to call upon our very first speaker by introducing her as an amazing woman known to be carrying a sound yet strategic mindset to create social impact with a burning passion for business development and change. She is currently serving as the CEO and chairperson of the Namibia Investment Promotion of Development Board, a public entity in the presidency tasked with the mission to promote and facilitate foreign and domestic investments as well as the development of SMEs. Ms. Nangula, please make your way forward to the microphone.
Thank you very much, Marika, and good afternoon, colleagues. Welcome to the room of ladies. I know that you have noticed. The other day I said that one place where we are in the WhatsApp group as some of the Nordic countries, that is Namibia, is having a country that has got that is top in women empowerment. So Namibia is in the top 10 countries in the world when it comes to women and gender empowerment. So you can see that we have got a panel of ladies today. It's not that men are not present in Namibia. We just left them home at this stage. So next year you will see them here. But we thought this year let us present to you ladies. So let us see how ladies are going to do this morning. So as indicated, I'm Nangula Wanja. I'm the CEO and chairperson of the Namibia Investment Promotion and Development Board. And I'm going to take you through the investment opportunities in Namibia. Why should you consider Namibia as a country to invest? And of course, what sets us apart from other countries? I know that you are going to listen to quite a number of presentations, and all of us are going to say why that country is the best. Of course, we said that Africa, many times we say Africa is the future, but Africa is not only the future, Africa is today. And definitely there are many gateways to Africa, and Namibia is one of those countries that will lead you right into the heart of Africa. So starting with that presentation, that is just for those of you that might be hearing about Namibia for the first time, or maybe you have heard it but you cannot place it. Usually I used to say, normally if you just look somewhere there is Angola, there is South Africa, there is Botswana, there is the Atlantic Ocean, and there is a good, beautiful space between those ones. That is the space that is called Namibia. Namibia is neighboring to 5 countries, 3 of which are landlocked. And of course, that gives you a door to SADC with a market of about 300 or more million consumers. But I will tell you a little bit about that one. So that is where Namibia is when it comes to global. Looking at the context, Namibia is a country with a GDP of about just 12 billion US dollars. When it comes to GDP per capita, we are regarded as an upper middle income country, and that is because although you look at the GDP value and you think it looks relatively low, our population is even lower. We are a country with a population of about 2.8, 2.6, 2.5, it depends on who you speak to, million people, and that makes us the second least densely populated country in the world. And it's because we've got 2 deserts. One is the Namib Desert. They regard it as the oldest desert in the world, and that is on the side of the Atlantic Ocean. And between Namibia, South Africa, and Botswana, we share the Kalahari Desert. And because of that, we've got quite a number of population, and many people are located in the northern part of Namibia, but also central, and just a few people at the coast of Namibia. So our Namibian dollar is pegged to the South African rand. So if you understand the South Africa economy, which is more or less a known economy in Namibia, we are dollar to rand in terms of that, and therefore if you understand how the economics and the financial situation in South Africa work, then you are more or less likely to understand how Namibia operates, because we share a common monetary policy. Just a little bit for me to go back to this one here. Namibia is a democracy. We have had 3 presidents so far. Next year we are having our elections. The current president is serving his 2nd term, and since our independence in 1990, we have seen, like you have heard from the video, peaceful transfer of power from the 3 presidents, and we are looking forward to March 2025, hopefully to have the next president of Namibia. So I don't know if somebody is changing with me, because I'm not touching anything and it seems to be moving. So let's try and see there. So multi-party system that we have in Namibia. However, we do have a dominant ruling party. We say that in Namibia we have got about 12 local languages in addition to English, which is the official language. The other languages that we have, which might be common, is we have got Afrikaans, which is a language we share with South Africa. But many people get surprised when I tell them that one of our local languages is German. So German is one of, when we tell you we have got 13 local languages, German is one of the local languages in Namibia, and we do have quite a good size of a German population. And if you go to our town of Swakopmund, you might mistake it to one of a little German town, because Namibia was a colony of German before the World War I started. So going forward, as you can see there, from a growth perspective, there are times that we have struggled to grow, but if you look at the industries, yes, we have got good services industry and a tertiary industry. However, most of that comes on the back of public sector, and we definitely want to change it by having more private sector services. So yes, we do have quite an extensive financial services sector, ICT services sector, but we want to grow that one, and I will talk about that one to you in a little bit of a few minutes when I talk about our focus. So looking at the GDP, Namibia has grown quite well in terms of FDI attraction and in terms of FDI over the years, especially between the year 2000 and the year 2014, we grow quite well. But from about the year 2015, our economy, the growth of our economy, I really do not know what is happening with the presentation that is deciding to change itself. Our economy started to struggle quite a bit, and it was because of many things. And therefore, when it started to struggle, our current president got a team together, which he calls the high-level panel on the Namibian economy. I was one of those members. I was then in the private sector. And then after that one, there were a few recommendations made, and he said those people that made the recommendation, he called them to come and serve them so that they can implement their recommendation. Yeah. No, I'm not clicking, because you can see my hand is up here. Thank you. So let's see where it will stop. Okay, so click once, click once, click once. So let's hopefully have it there. So he got quite a number of us from the private sector to join the public sector so that we can collaborate in making sure that there is a good synergy between people that have private sector experience, those that have got public sector experience, in order to grow our economy. And we engaged the Harvard Growth Lab, which then indicated that some of the challenges that we faced when it came to our growth was because Namibia was highly dependent on extractive sectors, we were highly dependent on government spending, and we were also highly dependent on non-tradables. And because of that, we needed to diversify our economy, and that is a bit of what I will come and discuss with you today. So we can see that the growth of Namibia is very much linked also to FDI. So As you can see, the years where the FDI was going high, our growth was also going high, and the years that the FDI was struggling, our growth was also struggling. But of course, while we had challenges, we also were faced then with the challenges of COVID that came through. But then you can see how our economy, both in terms of growth and attraction of FDI, is making improvements. If you look at goods and services, Namibia is a country that is currently very much highly dependent on imports, and therefore part of our strategy is definitely import substitution, but also focus on how do we attract investment for import substitution, but also in terms of goods and services that we are able to export to the rest of the region. So let's just see where we ended up there. So when we look at then the sectors of Namibia, what I want to talk to you about today, there's about 3 or 5 top sectors, but in general we are promoting 10 sectors. Those 10 sectors are renewable energies. I will talk to you about the 5 most ones now, where renewable energy will be one of them. We are talking about the food industry, chemical and basic materials, transport and logistics, services, metals, mining and adjacent sectors, machinery and electronics, fintech, tourism, as well as exploration. Maybe let me start a little bit on the exploration and mining. You want to disable this one? So let's see if this one will help. Okay. Okay, so let's start with the mining and exploration sectors. So mining is one of the sectors that we are driving. And we are driving mining because, yes, Namibia produces diamonds. And what is special about diamonds, we are probably the largest producer of diamonds that are produced onshore. And therefore, the quality of our diamonds, although the quantity is not the largest in the world, the quality is the best in the world because of its marine diamonds that has been at the deep of the Atlantic Ocean for quite a number of years. So we've got a company that is co-owned between Namibia and De Beers, and that is the one that is producing diamonds in Namibia. When it comes to uranium, Namibia is the second largest producer of uranium in the world. And then, of course, Namibia has got most of the minerals that are required in the energy transition. And that's why mining is a key sector for us. Also, when it comes to exploration, there has been recent finds of oil and gas in Namibia by Total Energies and Shell. Both of them have partners with Qatar Energy and our local company, which is Namcor, and they are exploring Namibia on offshore. And we are also, from what we understand, it's actually large findings, and they are both actually currently busy with their appraisal wells. Their 2023 exploration budget to Namibia, and therefore we expect great things coming from there. And then we go to renewable energy. When it comes to renewable energy, Namibia has got significant wind and solar resources. We understand that globally, especially when it comes to the competition in terms of producing green hydrogen, we are probably one of the top 4 countries in the world that have got a capability to produce green hydrogen at competitive prices, which is around 150. That is $1.50 US dollars per kilogram of green hydrogen. And yes, it is because Namibia, where the wind is blowing at night, the sun shines in Namibia around 360 days, and therefore during the day you've got sun, at night you've got wind, and it's at the same place where we get huge tracts of uninhabited land and close to the Namib Desert, and that is what gives us a competitive comparative advantage when it comes to renewable energy and when it comes to green hydrogen. From the food industry, Namibia is the only country in Africa that is able to export beef to China, the USA, and the EU. Of course, one of the things that we are targeting in the Middle East is about the export of beef and small livestock, which is goat and sheep, to the countries in the Middle East also. Namibia also exports date to the Middle East. We have got investors from UAE. And again, we have got an advantage of having to be in season when the Middle East is out of season. And therefore, we are able to export and supply dates to the Middle East when they're out of season. Also, grapes, it's another fruit that we export to the rest of the world, and it is also when most of the world is out of season, Namibia is in season. And the last product in terms of that category, it's blueberries that we are also able to export globally. Of course, those are not the only opportunities. Citrus offers significant opportunities in Namibia, and there are also horticulture that we are busy investigating. When it comes to chemicals, Namibia has got quite a number of natural resources. Please visit our stand. There is SMEs that we have brought with, and they are showcasing their product at Namibia based on our traditional natural resources. Most of them still very organic because Namibian land has not been spoiled by many chemicals. So moringa, marura, it's all that you can see them. And then transport and logistics, as you have seen from the map, Namibia is actually, again, a neighbor to many landlocked countries, and that gives us abundant opportunity to be able to connect to the rest of Africa. In addition to that, we have got a deep sea port in Wafish Bay. I think you will be able to see that later. Services, we have got a young population, most of them with either grade 12 or university degree that speak English, and that gives us an opportunity, of course, for business process outsourcing, but also for fintech. We have got good ICT infrastructure. We have signed up to the Equiano cable, and we have got fast internet, and therefore we are able to set up a fintech and other tech businesses for export to the rest of the region. Metals, I think I've talked about the resources that we have in terms of the energy transition, and one of the strategies that we have is definitely value addition in terms of increasing more and more processing locally so that we'll be able to create jobs for our people. Machinery and electronics, and then last I would like to talk about tourism. Namibia is one of the most beautiful countries in the world that you have ever seen. Hopefully you have seen just a few pieces here and there from the video. You have not seen anything. Yes, that is just the tip of the iceberg. You will have to come to Namibia. Many people that come to Namibia, when they leave, they say, this is Africa's best well-kept secret. Of course, we don't want to keep that secret away from you anymore. So we would like you to join us in Namibia. So when it comes to investment climate, I know as potential investors, you've got questions saying, okay, what are the challenges? So we have looked at the World Bank and they say, what are the investors looking for? And we say, well, how do we fare? And you can see that there are areas we are not faring well, but the good news is I will also tell you what we are doing about them and how we forecast ourselves in the next few months, if one can put it that way. So ability to export, we have got quite many trade agreements, but the reason why I put it there as orange is because of some protocols that we need to finalize, like for access to the Africa market in terms of the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement. Intellectual property, again, we have got protection for intellectual property, but we are busy working on making sure that we firm up the law. And then when it comes to investor protection, we believe that investor protection, especially when it comes to laws and regulation, we have got our court system, which are fair. And many times, if you are a private sector person and you've got your case well, you will be able to win your case against government because government does not interfere with the legal system. When it comes to the legal and regulatory environment, we have got some outdated laws that we are busy working on, and that is why it is orange there. Local acquisition target, that is a red because we do not have quite a good number of local enterprises that one will be able to enter into as a means of acquisition, and therefore most of the time will be about greenfield investment. We do have some government projects, some of them currently, especially in agriculture, where you can have brownfield investment, but I think we are targeting mostly greenfield. Local input outsourcing for the same reason. Labor cost, our cost of doing business is not the lowest in the world, and that is something that we are busy working on. Taxes, we are busy working on incentives because we do not have the lowest taxes in Namibia. stability. We believe that we have got good macroeconomic stability, but because our monetary policy is under South Africa because of the pegged Namibia dollar, I think that's why we have put it the orange. Market size, I think I've indicated, if you come to Namibia, then it must be more of an export play because our population is relatively low. Physical infrastructure. In terms of road, we have got for the 5th running year rated as having the best roads in Africa. However, when it comes to rail, we have got good rail system, but it's a bit dilapidated. We have got good energy infrastructure, but there's, like I said, especially rail is the reason why I have put there in orange. When it comes to political stability, that one we can make it very, very green because we have been quite stable for many, many years, and we expect to be stable for many, many more years to come. Resource endowment, we talked about. Supply chain coordination, some structural challenges that we need to attend to. Talent skills, we are working to attract more talents to Namibia. We have got young population that is not very skilled, although they have got either university degree or grade 12 qualification. But when it comes to high skills, we are busy working on a golden visa program for us to be able to attract quite a good number of skills to Namibia. So here is the summary of what we are doing. I will not go into the detail. So the creation of NIPDB, we are busy putting a one-stop center in place so that we can support investors with their process automation in Namibia, but also act as a single point of entry to access government services. The Golden Visa program I've talked about, logistic hub concept, sectoral focus in green industrialization, finalizing the protocol for the AGOA as well as the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement, talking about impactful investment incentive that we are busy working on, also looking at the Namibia Equitable Empowerment Law just to make sure that we are making sure that our local people get to benefit from all the various activities happening in Namibia, the Namibia Investment Promotion Act, Cybercrime and Data Protection Bill, which is in process, as well as a business review project that will deal with intellectual property. So those are some of the many items that we are dealing with, and we are saying that once we have done that, hopefully by the end of this year, of course, not everything is going to be done at the end of the year, is step by step. That is what we expect it to look like. When it comes to market size, I do not know who changed my red there because it's definitely a red. We will not be able to give birth to that many kids in the next few years. So I think we will attract people, but the market size will remain a challenge. Local acquisition target, a challenge still, and then only local input cost. Yes, taxes will change from red to about amber, and so is the input cost. But you can see that our target is definitely to make as many of the red and amber to green there by the end of this year. So that is the status of the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement, who have all signed up and ratified and submitted their instrument. Namibia was one of those first countries. A number of countries that have signed and not yet submitted their instrument. And then there's a few countries that have, or one country probably, that has not yet signed. Those are the other agreements that we are part of globally. And then that is the corridors that we have that gives us access to various other countries in the world. So we have got what we call the Trans-Kunene going to Angola. We have got the Trans-Kalahari leading to Botswana and South Africa. We have got the Trans-Oranje leading to South Africa, and then Trans-Kalahari leading us to Zimbabwe, Zambia, and over to the DRC. So those are the corridors that we are working on as part of our logistic hub. Many, many reasons to invest in Namibia. That is just the ones I could afford to fit on this without making the letters look too small. So political stability, financial sophistication. We have got established as a FDI destination. If you got the invite to this event, you would have seen how many multinationals are operating in Namibia. Investor protection, human rights protection, advanced infrastructure, logistic hub, your ability to repatriate your investment, liberty, accessible workforce, natural resources, currency that is convertible, rule of law, quality of life, market access, dispute protection. Those are just some of the reasons why you should consider Namibia as your preferred destination. And if this appeals to you, at our pavilion there you will see representatives from the Namibia Investment Promotion and Development Board who will be able to answer most of your questions. And with that one, I would just like to say thank you very much.
Thank you. That was a very beautiful and informative presentation. I saw a lot of head nodding, smiling, eyebrows, so I'm assuming it was quite engaging and you've got amazing questions that you'd definitely like to pose. Okay, so with our next speaker, this person has a very strong desire and a proven solution to restore ocean health and lock away vast amounts of carbon dioxide. I present to you Ms. Iria Jonah, and we'll also have her lovely video played as she makes her way to our mic.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Iria Jonah. I am from Kelp Blue. Kelp Blue is a seaweed cultivating company farming with kelp offshore north of Ludret in Namibia. So we do this for two main reasons or two missions. One, to boost marine biodiversity, and two, to sequester carbon. So compared to grasslands, rainforests, sugar kelp farms, giant kelp farms can actually sequester a lot of carbon compared to all the above, and it can also create habitat to more than 800 species in the ocean, therefore boosting marine biodiversity. And these are two aims on why we exist as Kelp Blue: carbon sequestration and biodiversity boost. So we intend on doing this through cultivating giant kelp. Of course, we have local kelp species such as Laminaria and Eclonia maxima, but we are farming with giant kelp, scientifically known as Macrocystis prefera. And the reason for this is because it can grow up to 65 meters tall. It grows up to 50 centimeters per day. And it can actually create habitat for a lot of marine life in the ocean, up to 800 species, and therefore considered as ecosystem engineers. And kelp itself have a lot of compounds that are beneficial to support a lot of industries, such as the agricultural industry and pharmaceutical industry. And another reason why we chose this species is basically because it can be cultivated or cultivated and harvested again, while for other local species, once you harvest it, you cannot harvest it again. And the reason why we are doing this in Namibia is because of also three reasons. The Benguela upwelling system, it supplies constantly a lot of nutrients, which then helps these kelp species to grow. And of course, the cold waters of the Benguela Current. So this kelp only thrives in temperatures between 9 and 15 degrees. Therefore, the Benguela upwelling system provides such thriving conditions for the kelp to grow. And then secondly is the physical geography. So the bathymetry works in Namibia, in Ludrates, and then also the depth. So if we want to grow between the depth of 50 meters to 200 meters, it is also doable in Ludrates. And then the third one is human factors. Of course, as Ms. Wanja mentioned, we have, Namibia is quite politically stable, so we have supporting governance and institutions, and also Namibia is committed to the blue economy. Therefore, Namibia becomes the best area for us to grow this, and hence why we started with a pilot study in Namibia in 2021, and we are now at the end of the pilot phase and moving to the commercial scale. So just to take you through the process, so we, oops, sorry. Okay, I thought there was a pointer, sorry. So if you can see where it's written lab and hatchery, so that is where everything starts. So we source kelp from different populations. Since this is not a native species, we source from different populations with a collaborative company called Hotimare in the Netherlands, and they do propagation of spores. So they release these small spores, the male and female gametophytes, and send to Namibia where we do the inductions in the lab. And when they grow into fertile sporophytes, then they are ready to be transferred into the ocean on the bigger structures. And then we have our engineering team and operations team. This is the team that is responsible for designing the structures to make sure that they are durable enough and strong enough to withstand harsh conditions at sea, and if even with increased buoyancy from the kelp itself, they will still be able to stay in place. And this is exactly the same team that does the installation of the structures and also the outplanting of the small kelp on the rope from the lab on land to the ocean while diving underwater. And then the third department we have is harvesting. So for now, for the pilot phase, we'll be harvesting by hands, but when you go to the commercial scale, we are designing a harvester vessel that will be able to harvest and pre-treat the seaweed on board, where we pre-mince it and of course pump it to the factory, where we are processing this seaweed into different products. And the product of target for kelp blue is of course biostimulant. Biostimulant is a plant stimulator that helps to support the agricultural industry by improving the soil and also boosting the growth in the plants. And then the second product is fucoidan and alginate. So this comes from, we have two streams when we do the production, the liquid and the solid. The liquid is the biostimulant, the solid is the paste, where we are doing a lot of studies, R&D on it, to see how we can extract these compounds environmentally friendly. And then the agriculture industry is now where we have the Steam Plus, which is our biostimulant. And so far we have conducted field trials with different companies to see how effective this product is. So in addition to that, we of course have to quantify how we are going to boost marine biodiversity and sequester carbon and prove our claims. So we have the environmental monitoring team that is there to monitor, set the baseline, so that from this point when we started, we'll be able to track how much of an impact we have made. And if we say we are sequestering carbon, of course, we are able to prove that claim. And this team is backed up by our foundation called the Kelp Forest Foundation, that was founded by the company to facilitate research and then support or promote ocean education and awareness. So just to give you more visuals, so the lab and hatchery, what happens, so of course you have the life cycle and then the process from the spores. So when you receive the spores, you have to put them to sleep, and when you are ready to use them, you put them in the white light so that they can start with the fertilization process. And then this is our engineering design. Okay, so ideally, this is how you want the structure to look like, and the kelp grows from the netting structure up vertically in the water column, and we only harvest the top 10%, leaving the rest of the forest in the ocean as habitat for marine life. So to the right is the designs that we are going to install offshore in the deep waters, and then to the left is the structures that we are going to install in the nearshore area. And the reason why we are choosing the bottom based in the nearshore area is because we want it to look like a natural looking structure and not having a lot of ropes in the nearshore area where there's a lot of marine traffic happening. So that is just an idea of the bottom base structure. And that is our farm now. We started from nothing to actually having a whole farm. Zero success to having a whole farm in the Shewater Bay in Namibia. And processing, as I explained, we have 2 streams, liquid and solid, and then we have our final products. And these are just some of the results we got from the field trials using our biostimulant. So we are targeting 2 locations for the commercial scale, so 6,000 hectares offshore and 400 hectares in the nearshore areas. And so now we are starting in Namibia and planning to expand to other upwelling systems, and looking at Alaska, Chile, and of course we have started in New Zealand. And yes, thank you very much.
Thank you, Iria. You know, they say dynamites come in small packages for a reason, and I think after these 2 presentations, we can definitely see how exactly 2.5 million people are still able to provide so much. Thank you. Can we have one more round of applause for our 2 speakers, please? All right. So just based on time, we would only like to request for 1 burning question. Every other question, we would like to invite you to our pavilion just further down the hall at the end of the presentation. Is it that 1 question that makes anyone want to hop off their seat? Going once. Going twice. I see a leg twitching, but I'm not going to point fingers. Yes.
Hi, good afternoon. I have 1 question on the mining industry in Namibia. Has Namibia, apart from the diamonds, always been a big mining country? And what would be the major minerals that were mined there in the last, let's say, 50 years?
Hello. Okay. Yes, Namibia has been a large mining country, and sorry to kind of do a little bit of memory lane, but I remember when I was a young Namibian that we believe that Namibia was built by mines. And yes, it was always diamond, so the diamond mine has been there for quite some time, and it has been uranium. Rio Tinto had a company which is still there called Rossing Uranium. And those 2 combined with a company we call TCL, it was copper in the northern part of Namibia. Those 3 has been the major companies that have contributed in the earlier years of Namibia development. So mainly copper, uranium, and diamond. But now we have got, of course, zinc and quite a number of other ores that are being ironed in Namibia. But mostly it was copper, uranium, and diamond.
Okay, thank you for your question. That was a very good question. So, we would just like to call upon another fiery yet graceful individual from the NIPDB, also known as Namibia Investment, Promotion and Development Board. Ms. Jessica Hawanga, please come forward for our closing remarks.
Good afternoon, everyone. As we draw this event on key sectors of Namibia's economy, To a close, we would want to thank all of you for participating and engaging, even if it was with one question, but it's about hearing out and listening what we have to share. We hope that this event has provided you with a better understanding of the key sectors driving Namibia's economy. We also hope that it has provided you with valuable information and insights on the investment opportunities that exist in Namibia. Very beautiful country. We like to promote our country because most of the people, if they visit Namibia, they will do it a second, a third, and a fourth time. And next time they will ask for PRPs to reside in our country. Namibia's economy has great potential. And it is through events like AIM that we can identify new opportunities and foster collaboration and partnership with sustainable economic growth. Today's presentation by our CEO and chairperson of the NIPDB, Nangula Uwanja, indicated possibilities for investment in Namibia through connections and opportunities. May you be encouraged and also share what you have learned today to start continuing exploring and investment opportunities that exist in Namibia and to engage with the relevant stakeholders like the Namibia Investment Promotion and Development Board to bring these opportunities to realization. Once again, thank you for joining us today, and we look forward to continue engagement with you in our pavilion just straight down the wall on your right-hand side, the most beautiful pavilion. Thank you.